Hey everybody, it's zjayfi here. I just wanted to do a quick video about a couple things that I've been thinking about lately, and I thought this would be interesting and maybe help a few people out who see it. So I'm in a fantastic mood tonight. I just finished up my crafting quest on this. It was a hard-fought victory. We had some new people, took them through the raid, but they all played really, really well, and I managed to get my last two components, so having a little bit of fun with this. I'll show you guys some fun stuff in the firing range with this in just a second. Well, what I want to talk about is the Vile Mask. The Vile Mask seems to have taken, I would say, a disproportionately large place in the Division 2 community as of late. And I was talking about this with one of the guys in our clan the other day, and I'm flabbergasted by what people seem to think this mask is capable of. It is not actually that much damage unless you really spec into it, which, as you can see in this build, I have. But even still, it's not a significant amount of damage unless it is developed to work correctly with a team. So the Vile Mask has this talent where every time you apply a status effect, it also applies a damage debuff, which equals 50% to that of your concussion grenade. Now, I am seeing a lot of people running this without explosive damage. And it just boggles my mind, because they'll have, crossbow here, and then they'll have, they won't have a piece of China Light for the explosive damage, or a piece of, well, you couldn't even, if you're going to use the Eclipse 4-piece, you could all, you can't put in the 2-piece of Grupo Sombra that would also give you the explosive damage. But they'll run it, without the Demolitionist, which gives you the extra damage. They'll run it without a piece of China Light. They'll do some odd things with it. It would actually, even want to pair it up with maybe a Merciless or a Regulus would be fantastic, because, well, that's not going to, you've got the extra explosion damage, so you might as well use an exploding weapon, right? But even if you max this out, okay, it's 1,758,000 damage per target. Alright, so we cut that in half, and what is that really? Well, it's about 800 and heavy change, maybe. Well, that's less than, yeah, it's less than 900,000. The enemies particularly in the harder content of this game, are easily over 10-12 million health, no problem. So this is not going to be much. You're going to have to status effect somebody 10 times before you kill them. Okay, and if you read the little description of the item here, it says, "You cling to life like a rebellious teen resisting curfew, but death is patient, and so am I." It even tells you that it's going to take somebody a long time to get killed with this thing. This is supposed to be an add-on to a formed group, meaning, okay, we're running a legendary, we need one status effect as a crowd control, and then we run 3 DPS with it, or we run a medic, 2 DPS, and a status effect guy. Now, you'll remember that in the last patch they nerfed some of our more common status effects. For example, the Blinder Firefly. You used to be able to get a longer blind duration than cooldown. Now, as you can see, it's about half, even on the best possible status effect build, which I think this pretty much is. I should have status effects everywhere on it. Well, a little weak there, but even still. Okay, so this is an above average status effect build, because let's face it, most people who play this game don't really have their builds min-maxed. This is not going to do a whole lot of blinding, but now with the mask, it's also going to do a little bit of damage on top of that. So this is designed to just be a little extra oomph for the people who are running status effects for the team. You can even use a Jammer Pulse. Now it does half a grenade's worth of damage. So if I'm in a legendary, and this is my, assignment, this is my role in the team, is to jam all the electronics and run the Blinder Firefly. Obviously I don't have much DPS, but I do have explosive damage, which helps with the Vile Mask. Okay, so what's the problem? I'm sure you're asking. Well, the problem is lately, every time I matchmake into a group of 4 people, it's 3 people running this build. You can't clear a legendary with 4 Vile Mask builds. You just can't possibly do it. Now, I can switch off to something else when I see 3 other people running Vile Masks, but it's going to take us forever and a day to clear any sort of legendary with this. And people seem to think that this is like, some magical build that's going to solve all your problems. On challenging, you can run, this with the airburst Seeker Mine and light everybody on fire, and it's a lot of fun. You can run it with the fire chem launcher. Yeah, absolutely, it's a lot of fun, and you can do a lot of damage, but that's because you're burning people to death. It has nothing to do with the Vile Mask. The Vile Mask is just a bit of a bonus. And I've also seen people running it without Creeping Death. I've seen people running it without the chess piece. I've seen people doing some really, really interesting things with the Vile Mask, including showing up to raids with the Vile Mask build, which only works in one very specific part of the raid, and that's Lieutenant Gray, and only one person would need to build it, would need to run it, and even then, you wouldn't want a status effect build. You would want a skilled damage build with the artillery turret. You would not want the Vile Mask in it because it's a status effect mask. You would want the maximum skilled damage that you could do, which would mean probably 3 pieces hardwired, 2 Hana and a Wyvern, or 3 Murakami, 2 Hana and a Wyvern. If you prefer that way, like to get the extra attributes, which would be just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But think about how the Vile Mask is interacting with the team. If everyone is running this Vile Mask, it is not going to work. And I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work in a raid. And if you're going to run it in a legendary, you do not want to run it. You would not want to run it with damage skills like mine is set up for here. You would want to run it with blinders, with status effects that actually help the team. You could run it with Riot Foam. Riot Foam would be a great choice. Shock Traps is a good choice. Jammer Pulse is a good choice. Anything that's a status effect is 100% okay. Anything that creates burn or shock or bleed, or, even if you were to put, I guess you could put Gunner in here and run Banshee, but then you'd be missing out on some of the grenade damage that you'd be getting from the mask. So this is a very, very tricky piece. And I know you're probably saying, well, why is yours set up like that? Well, I was goofing around with it, and guess what? It didn't work all that well. The only reason I think I can, imagine having this build would be for legendaries. And that would only be if the team wants a status effect. And it would be the one and only Vile Mask build in the quartet, in the 4 of us. So I'm setting it up like that. This is the only application that I can think of for this mask, because it's just too slow. It's not enough damage. So I'm going to overwrite this and save it just like this, and that's the way I'm going to run it. So like I said, I'm really in a great mood because I just got my Regulus, and I'm going to show it off a little bit. I got a great new haircut for my agent. She's got a Dana Scully X-Files kind of thing going on. Super cool. Let's check out the Regulus on a DPS build and see how it does. I'll take the Ravenous off. Oh, not Liberty. Put this guy in here. And this is cute. And look at the amount of damage that it does to everybody who's around. Really nice. Procs bleed. Gives some nice explosive damage to everybody in the area. Very, very cool. The handling is pretty wonky. So I don't know if weapon handling would be needed for it in this. Let's quick fire this target, and you can see it bounces all over the place. So headshot kills are going to be tough to get with this. You're going to have to take your time and aim. And I mean aim. But it's a lot of fun. I can't wait to try it out. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Think about the Vile Mask. If you're one of these people that's running Vile Mask non-stop, just be aware that you could be doing a whole lot more damage, or you could either be doing a lot more damage by running a different build, which does more damage, like a skill damage build or a DPS build, or if you want to run the Vile Mask, you should be using status effects that don't normally deal damage, because those are going to have the most value for the other DPS people on your team. The people who are running DPS are going to be super grateful that you just riot foamed and jammed all the enemies, or you blinded everybody and lit them on fire, because now they can shoot from cover without worrying about getting their ass torn off because they're running, you know, perfect glass cannon. That's your role as the status effect person, is to control the crowd. It is not to do half a grenade's worth of damage every time you throw a bleed hive at them. That doesn't have a whole lot of value, because you can do so much more damage with a full-on skill damage build than you ever could with this mediocre type of hybrid mask, which even tells you right in the description that it requires extreme patience. So that's all I wanted to get at for tonight. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next raids.